So in this case right here on this watch, I got the battery out. Something I forgot to mention earlier. On older watches, sometimes the battery has the negative side up. Okay, this is very important because if you attempt to put the battery back with on the wrong side, what you do is you short out the mechanical moves of the watch. Okay, so keep in mind on older watches, sometimes the negative side of the battery, which is this side right here, is facing up. Okay, these are things that you have to look at before you take out the battery. Okay, it's very important. I don't have an example here, but if your watch is held with a screw or some kind of latch, this is very important. If you need to undo a latch to get the battery out, don't undo the screw all the way. Okay, you just need to undo it enough where it will just swing the latch. Okay, all latches, most of the time, I say 90% of the time, the latches will swing open. It's only held by that screw by one end. So if you undo all the screw all the way out, then you have to worry about putting that screw back in, and those screws are very tiny. If you haven't seen one. Okay. The other thing you need to worry about is when you put the battery in, is make sure the connector, which is this little flap right here, is in good shape. I see this happen a lot when we would take a watch and we'd just take a battery and we'd smush it in. What happens is you smush this plastic, this connector back into the watch, and you cause the watch to short. And that's, then at that point you basically destroy the watch. So make sure that this connector right here touches the end of the battery where it's supposed to touch, okay, which is right here. Okay, now again, you remember how easy it is to get the battery out. It shouldn't be that hard to get the battery back in. Okay, it doesn't require a whole lot of force. Okay, so in this case I'm putting the battery back in. And that's basically how you change the battery. Now the tricky part now is actually getting the watch back together. Okay. Let's see if I've missed anything off my list here. Okay, I'm not trying to waste your time. Okay, now let's get the back on here. Okay. Actually, other thing is make sure you put all the pieces back together. Okay. If you took a plastic piece out, make sure you put the plastic piece back in. If you find any stickers, labels, anything that was on the battery, make sure you put it back. Okay, those are there for a reason. Okay. Oftentimes that little sticker that goes over the battery protects it from touching the top of the back of the back. Okay, so you make sure everything is put back together. How you got it out, open it up. Okay, when putting the back on, okay, make sure when you use it, and you have to use this press because you can't do it with your fingers. Okay, actually, first thing you do is try to put it on with your finger. Okay, if you can't, use the press. I prefer using your fingers first, but oftentimes you can't, so you're going to use the press. When you use a press, it is very, 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 very important to pick the right dies. Okay, this right here would actually help you get the back on. Now, on the bottom die, because there's a top bottom die and a top die. Okay, the bottom die must not touch the crystal, but it can't touch the crystal, but it has to touch the rim of the case. Okay, if it touches the band, what happens is you push the band out. That's not good. You have to have this rest on the case or outside the crystal. Obviously, you don't want it to have to touch the crystal because the crystal will break. So in this case, you see this thing just touches the rim of the crystal. Okay, so this is the bottom die. Okay. The top die is very important. Okay, you have to find a die that would actually cover the whole back. Okay, now I see this happen all the time. You guys will use a die that's too small for the watch. Okay, and you think it's not that big of a deal. It is a very big deal. What happens is if you take a small die and you press against this back, what happens is you're pressing the center of the back in first. Okay, causing the back to be warped. Okay, if the back is warped, meaning the middle is pushed in further and the lips are pushed outwards, what happened is that lip would not go over the watch properly and would no longer fit the watch. Okay, so find a die that will cover the whole back. Okay, like so. Okay, that'd be a top die. Here's a little trick, by the way. you see the inside die, the bottom dies have this cutout right here. You can flip it upside down and use it, the flat surface also, to press the back watch on. Okay. So you put the bottom pack on and see how the watch is laying it flat. That's why unhooking the band, making it to lay flat, is so useful. Okay. Now, when you put the back on, make sure you line the notch of the back with the stem and the crown. If you don't do this, it will cut the stem and crown. So make sure that notch is properly lined up with the watch, with the stem. Okay. You press the bottom piece down, and you press it. Now, this is a press. It shouldn't require a whole lot of pressing down, just a slide. Now, you know you're doing something wrong if you have to press too hard. Okay. And the back is on. Now, you put the pin back together. Okay. And you put the clasp back on. Okay. One thing I forgot to tell you to do is when you change a watch battery, make sure you write RIJ inside the watch using a permanent marker. Okay, this will help identify our watch batteries, so these are lifetime batteries. Which brings me back to one more thing. Okay, this is back to the first part. When a customer brings in a watch battery, okay, don't ever ask the customer, do you have a lifetime battery? Okay, tell the customer, well, our batteries are $24.95 for a lifetime battery. Let the customer tell you that they have a lifetime battery. Okay, we don't always mark our battery in the computer like we should be, and we don't always write Robert RIJ inside the back either. So just because a customer tells you they have a lifetime battery doesn't mean they have a lifetime battery. So the best way of doing it, and the most polite way of doing it, is when a customer hands you a watch, you tell them up front it's $24.95 for the watch battery. Or if you're charging $30, it's $30 for a watch battery. Let the customer tell you that they have a lifetime battery. And that's pretty much it. Okay, and my only thing about this is if you feel uncomfortable about doing a watch, don't do it. Just take it in as in repair, send it over here, and I'll take a look at it. That's it. Thank you.
7 minutes, 35 seconds on that one.
Okay.